Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Storytime with Sister Marsha. I'm so glad that you can join me today. We are in the month of Ramadan, so it is exciting to read these stories to you and to have you connect with what we are experiencing in this month in the revelation of the Quran. Tonight's story is from the Quran Stories for Kids series, as the previous stories have been. This one is entitled Travels of the Prophet Ibrahim. And a few days ago, we read a story about the Prophet Ibrahim being Allah's friend. So today we're going to talk about the travels of the Prophet Ibrahim. And so without further ado, we are going to jump into our story. Quran Stories for Kids. The author is Sani Yasnain Khan. Travels of the Prophet Ibrahim. Long, long ago, about 4,000 years ago, in the land of Iraq, a child was born whose name was Ibrahim, alayhi salam, or upon him be peace. And another name that we use for Ibrahim is also Abraham. He was gracious, tender-hearted, and pure in faith. Allah was pleased with him and made him his best friend. When Ibrahim grew up, he became a great prophet and preached the truth in Allah's message in his country. Later, he traveled to Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. When a beautiful son was born to his wife, Hajar, or Hagar, Ibrahim was ordered by Allah to travel toward what we now know as Mecca, along with his wife and the little child whose name was Ishmael or Ishmael. They all traveled for a long time till they reached a lonely, barren valley near two small hills called Safa and Marwa. The Prophet Ibrahim asked his wife to stay near one of the hills along with the baby Ishmael and started to go away. His wife protested, "Why are you leaving us alone here? Are you leaving us here to die?" But Ibrahim replied, "My Lord has commanded me to do this." Then Hajar, breathing a sigh of relief, said, "If Allah has ordered you to do so, then he will not let us die." After a while, little Ishmael began to cry because he was thirsty, but there was not a single drop of water to drink. And here we can see the desert that they were in. Hajar ran helplessly from one hill to another, but there was no water, nor was there any human being nearby to give her any. As the baby was crying desperately with thirst and the mother was running from one hill to another, Allah caused a miracle to take place. A spring gushed forth beneath the feet of Ishmael, alayhi salam. When Hajar saw this from a distance, she shouted, "Zamzam," the sound made by gushing water in the Babylonian language. Hajar came running and gave some fresh spring water to the thirsty child to drink, and so his life was saved. This spring became famous later on and was called by the name of Zamzam. Ishmael and his mother began to live in the valley, and because of the Zamzam spring, more people gradually came to settle there, slowly building up a small town which was later called Mecca. From time to time, Ibrahim would visit Mecca to meet his family, especially to see his young Ishmael growing up in the beautiful surroundings of nature in a new town in a lovely valley surrounded by hills, away from the crowded cities where the people at that time were mostly idol worshippers. And there we see a picture of the town of Mecca. The moral of this story is that believers who, despite their hardships, follow the path of Allah will find that Allah will remain with them and help them in miraculous ways, just as the child Ishmael, alayhi salam, was saved by the miracle of the Zamzam spring. And this is our story for this evening. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's story. I hope that you are inspired and know that if you are faced with difficulty, that Allah will make a way for you. I look forward to reading tomorrow's story to you. Again, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. Have a great evening. Till next time.